Today we have more news to discuss as God of War PS5 update coming within a few hours with big improvements, Polyphony Digital statement on Gran Turismo 7, Xbox's new acquisition, and some Google Stadia and Resident Evil news. So, before jumping into the topics, please like the video and subscribe to the channel, and click the notification icon for more interesting and informative topics. So, let's jump in. Santa Monica Studio is finally releasing a next-generation update for God of War that will improve the graphics settings on PlayStation 5. God of War fans can rejoice, because the next-generation update for PS5 is almost here. Santa Monica Studio announces the details of the upcoming patch, and when it will be available for players to download for God of War. Santa Monica Studio made a lot of changes to this title in comparison to the original series. As the latest entry, it earned praise for high-fidelity graphics, upgradable gear, and cinematic storytelling. Even with a successful release on PlayStation 4, the hit game has not seen any improvements for the newest console. This is especially noticeable given that it is one of the available games in the PlayStation Plus collection. Now, players who were waiting for a next-gen patch to play can finally boot up God of War. Today, February 2nd, the new update will be available for free to download. This fix changes up how the video graphics option works in the game. There will also be a new default option set that apparently offers the best of both performance and resolution for those experiencing the game on PS5. For those with a next-gen console, there will be two options. The update involves three main notes for gamers. It will now present gameplay at a 4K checkboard resolution, but the user will need a 2160p capable device to view this resolution. Even more beneficial for those playing on PS5 will be the sync to 60 frames per second. Santa Monica Studio also gives fans the choice, and the graphics setting can be put back to the original PlayStation 4 version, which is 4K and 30 frames per second. God of War is a game which is already housing pretty good graphics. Fans were able to experience dynamic combat with Kratos like never before. Hype for the series' new direction is so high that there is even another sequel coming down the pipeline for PS5. Up until now, it had been a bit unfortunate that there was no next-generation update for the game, especially when a fan was able to bring it to 60 frames per second through outside means. However, that will no longer be an issue for players starting tomorrow. Granted, the update may be coming a little too late for a lot of players. Sony's newest console has been out since last November, and gamers will have likely checked out God of War by now. The PS Plus collection is not exactly extensive, and the title is one of the best games on there. But for those who did not get a chance to play it before, the best version will be available soon. As a God of War fan, I am very excited for this PS5 enhancement. Our next news is that Polyphony Digital confirms Gran Turismo 7 returns to classic franchise formula. With the success of Sport, Gran Turismo 7 aims to return the series to its classic roots that made the series a driving force in the racing genre. When Gran Turismo was first released in 1997 in Japan, and in North America and Europe the following year, it touted itself as the real driving simulator. That manifesto separated itself from other racing titles at the time, featuring hundreds of cars from manufacturers all over the world. The amount of control the player had over how each car behaved, complete with a campaign in simulator mode, was enough to turn Gran Turismo into a flagship series for the PlayStation. Gran Turismo 3 and Gran Turismo 4 were the second and third best-selling games on the PlayStation 2, and Gran Turismo 5 sold over 6 million units in its first year. Needless to say, the anticipation for a seventh game reached extraordinary levels, yet Polyphony Digital deviated from the main series with Sport. Gran Turismo 7 aims to be a return to the classic formula. Gran Turismo Sport was Polyphony Digital's way of blurring the lines between video games and real-life competitive driving. Track drivers faced off against fans of the series in several championships sponsored by the FIA. While successful, fans of the original games who wanted the full driving simulator experience over the esports approach that Sport offered were left wondering if Gran Turismo 7 would do just that. In an interview with Octane Japan, series producer Kazunori Yamauchi assured fans that Gran Turismo 7 would return to the royal purpose of full volumes like 1 to 4. It's safe to assume that Gran Turismo 7 would return to its original mantra of being the real driving simulator, offering a vast array of cars, fan-favorite courses, and a robust simulator mode. This would also include the success of Gran Turismo Sport by adding a feature similar to Sport. Yamauchi and the rest of Polyphony Digital aim to retain its core audience while also inheriting what made its previous experiment a success. And our next topic is that, after the purchase of Bethesda in 2020, Microsoft is continuing to make a splash as Xbox Game Studios could be adding a new exclusive soon. Microsoft made a huge splash in the gaming industry in 2020 by announcing the purchase of Bethesda Softworks, which is well known for its Elder Scrolls and Fallout series. The acquisition came as a shock to much of the community. Initial questions about Xbox Game Studios adding Bethesda to its ranks were surrounded by the topic of exclusivity, especially about the aforementioned titles. However, Microsoft may not be done adding to its arsenal quite yet. Already under the Xbox Game Studios umbrella are studios such as 343 Industries, Obsidian, Rare, Undead Labs, World's Edge and more. On its website, the gaming giant displays titles the studios are now responsible for developing, Age of Empires, Forza, and Halo being a few of the highlights on that list. Outside of Halo being a major Xbox exclusive, PlayStation's list outshined Xbox's efforts in that area. As Microsoft continues to purchase studios, its compendium of titles could increase soon. YouTuber and game reviewer ACG recently made an appearance on an episode of the Defining Duke podcast, where he revealed a rumor about Microsoft purchasing another studio. Along with that studio would be an exclusive title that was described as a B-level surprise. ACG would not go into more detail about what studio may be joining the ranks of Rare and Obsidian. The YouTuber told the Defining Duke podcast that due to having friends at that specific studio, no name of it would be mentioned. Hill Spencer, the head of Xbox, already confirmed with the gaming community that Microsoft intends on buying more studios. That statement was made in November of 2020, and since no announcement of a purchase has taken place within the last 3 months, one could be on the horizon. The question now curtails into what exactly is defined as a B-level surprise. ACG did not provide more context on his statement, leaving the industry to guess up until the news is reported. Presumably, an A-level title can include any fresh Halo, Elder Scrolls, or Fallout game. Elder Scrolls 6 is not close to debuting, Halo was delayed until the fall of 2021, and Fallout 76 is still receiving weekly updates, so that is not an option at this time. Starfield is a Bethesda property with rumors swirling around the internet of its potential exclusivity. It could also be a new IP that has yet to be revealed to the world. Only time will tell when, or if, ACG's rumor comes to fruition. Spencer is not shy from the media, and since gaming conventions are not able to take place due to the pandemic, an online announcement is a realistic avenue where that information will be shared.
As to what you would dream. And finally, you would dream where you are now.
And we have a trending topic is that, after the recent shutdown of Google Stadia gaming development, Jade Raymond announces she is leaving the company after 1 year. Per a recent news announcement from Google, the company will shut down internal game productions for Stadia titles slated after a 2021 window, closing the studios associated with them. All this is part of an effort to make big changes within Google, but it does mean Google is losing Jade Raymond, a key figure in Google's Stadia efforts. Google is offering Stadia tech to game publishers directly, and the Stadia Pro gaming platform will still be offered to the public. However, this means that both of Google's game studios in Montreal and in Los Angeles will have to shut down, affecting around 150 jobs in total. One of the people being the seasoned gaming producer Jade Raymond, the head of game creation at Stadia. Jade Raymond is a Canadian gaming producer who got some of her first experience working for big-name companies such as Electronic Arts and Ubisoft Montreal. At Ubisoft, Raymond was in charge of the creation of the first Assassin's Creed game, which allowed her to land an executive producer role for Assassin's Creed 2. In 2019, Jade Raymond joined Google's board as a vice president, where it was announced that she would be leading Stadia Games and Entertainment to create exclusive content for Google Stadia. According to a source within the company, Google said that it will still try to help all of these developers find other related jobs within Google. However, it wasn't officially made public by any Google company board members if this was true or not. And if there is any indication, Jade Raymond herself has officially decided to take leave from the company instead of staying in order to pursue other future career possibilities. Google has stated that it will still continue to operate the Stadia gaming service and the Google Stadia Pro service. However, it is still not clear if the Stadia games that Raymond worked on that were close will still make their way to consumers. Stadia will nevertheless continue to bring in new third-party games to the console, but some fans might see this as a step down from the console competitor that Google initially claimed Stadia would be. Jade Raymond has not made any public announcements yet about what her future plans are. But for someone with an accomplished track record such as herself, it will not be hard for her to find something. Hopefully, the COVID pandemic won't prove to be too much of an obstacle, and it will be something fulfilling that Raymond will enjoy doing. And we have small final peek to peek. Lady Dimitrescu, the tall lady from Resident Evil Village, is officially tall. After a few weeks of fan speculation regarding how tall Lady Dimitrescu is her seeming tallness born of an awkward camera perspective? Is her seeming tallness a result of her witches being short? Capcom has issued some important clarification. She's tall to the tune of 2.9 meters. That's about 9 feet, 6 inches. According to the very first result for the Google search average human height, people are generally 1.6 m to 1.7 m tall. At 2.9 m, that makes Lady Dimitrescu unarguably tall. With the stats at hand, Lady Dimitrescu fanart can be more realistic than ever before. The art director of Resident Evil Village said that he is very happy that there is large fanbase for the big lady and revealed her height officially, and said that he can't wait for us to play Ethan entering Castle Dimitrescu in May. So, that's all for the video. If you like the video, share it with your friends and comment your thoughts and predictions, and until then, goodbye.
So we finally meet.